All right.
EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited and Tillian Group Country Cold Store.
We are excited to introduce our new program, Conversations with Co-op Bank, hosted by Eddie Frederick. This program is part of our educational campaign aimed at sensitizing you, our customers, about various topic areas. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Look out for notifications and tune in to Conversations with Co-op Bank.
Welcome home.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Tillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training, and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Co-op Bank introduces e-payments, our new e-banking feature that allows you to make payments online hassle-free. Log in securely with biometric technology. Make recurring payments easier with automated scheduling. Save time by paying your bills online. Transfer money to accounts at other local and regional banks. Send wire transfers on the go to anywhere in the world. Or send money to friends or family using Buddy Payment. E-payments, the swift, simple, and secure way of transferring money.
Welcome home.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Well, folks, it's so wonderful to be in the land of the living and with all of you lovely people as per usual. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Of course, this is my, 118th Independent Live Session and 16th for 2023 on this fair weekend. Tell a friend, gather your household, and let's have some frank talk again as per usual. Thank you for joining as you continue your 4-month journey into 2023, effortlessly wiser, and of course, more aware as to how, what, who, when, and where to avoid on your forward, onward, and upward journey. Goodly folks, remember to share the live as you come into the room. Our topic for today is centered around, if you don't know what a con is by now, you will always be conned. You see, I want you to stop complaining about your various stagnated positions in life. When many of you have actually volunteered to live in that state, having presented yourselves as sitting ducks for the greatest con that ever presided over political power in our tri-island state. You have sat there and allowed that old nastiness to massage you. And then you wonder why you were stagnated. Interestingly, I've been receiving loads of inboxed messages regarding the way people have been changing their minds about the way they felt about the last dispensation. Wow. You see, some transformation is taking place, folks. That's some welcome news indeed. People are beginning to see the light. Since the change, people have started to pay close attention to, the goings-on around in the country and the goings-on around them. And thanks to a bit of consistency from people like my good self and others, they are now coming around to understand that what they were inclined to support over the years was a lot of nothing, a lot of fake. I always knew that time will tell. And the time is here for many to be transformed in their thinking and in their knowledge base. That is why I continue to admonish our young people to pull up their chairs and pay attention. You see, before we actually get into today's menu, though, I want to pay due respect to one of two teachers who directly contributed to my education, and in particular, my ability to read to the point where I have become a prolific reader today. I always say, if it were not for, let's say, Mrs. Joyce Antwine, I don't know how I would have been able to live without being able to read properly, let alone read at all. I must add, God rest her soul. She's passed on and she's left a bit of legacy. Quite a few people have been passing on lately, folks. What a pity most of them will soon be forgotten. Several of them have been already forgotten, even when they have not even been buried yet. While others, as soon as their bodies have been interred, they were like distant memories. That's a sad, sad situation for us to live in a nation of forgettable people for the most part. Well, thank God for the few among them who came, conquered before leaving. Within the last 3 years, we can tell you of a few who stood out and passed on. Just from my memory, we are looking at Sir Royston Hopkins of Spice Island Beach Resorts fame, Sir Carlisle Glean, a former Governor General, Mr. Monty St. John for his massive achievements as a banker within Barclays Bank structure at the highest level regionally and internationally. Mrs. Wilma Sampson, teacher for most of her adult life. Mrs. Ursula Antwine, exemplary mother, wife, mentor, and teacher to so many. Miss Judy Williams, of national notoriety as an exemplary social worker. Cosmo St. Bernard, QC, one of the longest practicing legal practitioners in CARICOM and the Commonwealth, and definitely the longest within the OECS. Folks, there would be funerals that we would attend, which would be memorable. And there are others again, we wished we did not have to attend for many reasons. I can recall a very few of both. Mrs. Joyce Antwine, God rest her soul, proud mother to Dr. Patrick Antwine, Paul, Ron, and Waikosi. she has transitioned to the great beyond. What I can tell you is that she was quintessential, typical example of a quality and class act of a teacher. I can recall the impact she had on me up to this day, as she really has left me a much better person than the one she met back in 1972 when I entered her 4B class at Heinze School back in the day. Mrs. Antoine, though strict, was very motherly, nurturing, and caring. She took a liking to me from day one, and she even made efforts to meet with my mother, God rest her soul too, to partner with her to ensure my success. Hello? Those were the days when teachers were in the profession as a true calling. Needless to say, Mrs. Antoine became my second mother, as it was tough love time all the time for me. Under her care from 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily, it was conform and be reformed time. She had a little wait after school for her husband. And so when she discovered I needed help with learning to read, she took it upon herself to ensure for the period that she was my teacher that I learned to like reading, to be on my way with being able to read. I therefore had no choice in the matter, as I had to remain after 3 p.m. with her to learn to read until her husband came to pick her up. Folks, every day. That was a teacher. The progress was very slow because I didn't like it. And she was not very happy at all. She was adamant. The straw that broke the camel's back for me was when she enlisted Patrick and Paul, younger than I was back then. Of course, they're still younger. And gave them my reading book, way above their level, and asked them to read a passage therefrom. Folks, I was embarrassed to see how fluent they were. And that level of shame got me eager to overcome my dislike for reading and any other stumbling blocks that prevented me from reading, period. The legacy of Mrs. Antoine lives on, as she really set out to and conquered when it came to the wonderful results she reaped from me in particular. Inasmuch as Mrs. Antoine and I were on diametrically opposite sides of the political divide, me being a Garyite, of course, never ever wanting to support this diabolical old nastiness, she never allowed that to prevent her from listening to me as regularly as it was convenient to her. In fact, every time I would meet her, she would tell me, "Congrats, Eddie, on your delivery, man." And that she's so proud of me and how I have developed, considering her memory of me not being able to read because I didn't like it. She would say both herself and her husband would discuss my diction and deliberate manner and style and how I can effortlessly slip in and out of the vernacular. Of course, she would remind me that they do not necessarily agree with what I say. And when I'm reading especially, she feels so proud to know that she has some credit to take for helping to shape that ability in me. Wow, that was magnanimous. I have never forgotten her and would never, as long as I live, as she really was a dedicated soul. Folks, now that is what we all are given a chance at life to do. Make a difference in the lives of others, regardless of the reactions of who don't like it. And make that difference through genuine service and not use people on whose backs we climb and ride to get ahead. May Patrick, Paul, Ron, and Waikosi find solace in the fact that their dear mom, Mrs. Joyce Antoine, God rest her soul, helped to make this world a better place than she met it by her meaningful contributions through the stout mothering of her own children, and by extension through teaching of so many other children who ought to be grateful for her positive impact on them. I, for one, am eternally grateful. You could feel it, can't you? May her soul rest in eternal peace. Good citizens like Mrs. Joyce Antoine are few and far between, extremely hard to come by. We can mostly see fake people and, of course, many cons. And that is why I predicate our discussion today on the topic. If you don't know what a con is by now, you will always be conned. Folks, let's take a little break and we come back for a little bit more.
EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited and Tillian Group's Country Cold Store.
The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and or affiliates of this program.
Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure, you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
We're excited to introduce our new program, Conversations with Co-op Bank, hosted by Eddie Frederick. This program is part of our educational campaign aimed at sensitizing you, our customers, about various topic areas. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Look out for notifications and tune in to Conversations with Co-op Bank.
Welcome home.
Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, folks, and welcome back. Welcome back. Of course, let me just pay a little respects to you here for joining us. Thank you for joining. Let's see who we have here on this platform. We have Roxy, Samantha, Amelia, Yvette, Lydia. Welcome, my dear. Welcome, Shirley, Shirley-Ann, Sam, Antha. We also have Josh Sweet Cakes. Remember, I hear you cook and you bake very well, so study your head the next time you come to Grenada. Angel, we have, who else? Wayne, Jellian, welcome. Judy, my darling, blessings. Christiana, always a pleasure to have you lovely regular folks. Miss Jacqueline, I haven't seen you in a while, Jackie. Trust you well, trust you're doing well. Cynthia, Kine, I really enjoy your little tidbits on a daily basis. Very provocative indeed, and you're so regular with them. Bless your heart. Alma, Rain, who else? Well, that's it on one platform. But on this other platform, we have the likes of Peter Bishop, Kerry Ann, Des, Kathleen, Yulene, Maria, April, Ann, Jennifer, Jackie, Suzanne, Anne-Marie, Cheryl Ann, sorry, Monica, Yulin, Mimi, Joan, Shadonna, who else? Tubbs, blessings, my friend, blessings. Monica, Jocelyn, Anna, namaste according to you, my dear. Who else? Elisa, Lima. We do have Dread Peters. Good evening. Welcome. And on YouTube, we have Tamika. Who else? Ivy. We have Janice, Irva, Joan Bristol. Welcome. Thanks for your active participation, Joan. You're always so participatory. We have Bernadette, Shema, Amanda, welcome, dear, welcome. It's always a pleasure, We have Thel Joe, of course, Brenda, Aldith, Dodo, we have an Yvonne, and then we have a Sharon Bishop McLawrence. Welcome, folks, welcome. Just continue to hit that share button and let's get some more people in the room. And let's also focus on who is here. You are here, and that's what matters. Good. When a teacher is in a class teaching how many of our students, not everybody learns the same way the teacher is configured to teach. So, but everybody's there. They have a fair chance. Some grasp, some do not. So be it. We can bring a horse to the well, but we cannot force it to drink. So welcome back, folks. A lot of the Treasury feeders over the period 1995 to 2022, for the most part, now that the Treasury has closed to them and their regular small feed by the greatest con that ever passed through Grenada, which their omissions caused to remain around the precincts of power for so darn long, they now know what standard to hold this new administration to. They didn't have any standard to hold the old nastiness and his brigands to, but they know what standard to hold this new administration to. Oh, hypocrites. All of a sudden, elements who posed as journalists between 1995 and 2022 who had absolutely no interest in investigating anything or the many corrupt acts and regular bubble committed by the old nastiness and his brigands are today becoming investigative to see if they could pull up anything on anyone in this new dispensation so that they could besmirch their character. Folks, where these people come from, as I said before, they now know what standard to hold the new administration to when they gave the last inherently dishonest crew no standard at all to be held to. A lot of the things they are perceiving and contriving about the new administration and people closely aligned to them and thus ventilating out there never mattered under their personal conman, that old nastiness, while he was in power. Folks, many of them want to accuse decent people of doing what the old nastiness and his crew used to do, as if to make them feel bad about it. Folks, I will continue to sing the same song repetitively over time, as consistency is the source of success, all success. Let me remind you that a true patriot is not one who robs from his country's treasury and siphon off a country's scarce resources. That is not a patriot. That is a thief. Whether you're a bottom, middle, or top feeder, you are basically just a common thief. That's all. All you so-called journalists who said nothing when all of this was going on, you too were facilitators, aiders, and abettors. People need to be called out and called out in the most vulgar of manners so youthful, impressionable members of our population know what they're doing is wrong, so they do not follow suit. Folks, listen to me. What con men do? That's a question I'm sure many of you asking. What do con men do? First and foremost, a con man is a man who persuades people to give him their money, property, or even support through votes by lying through their teeth to them. A con man is one who steals for a living, dresses up in fine threads to fake the role of a statesman or one of officious standing, preying on the dunce, poor, and vulnerable. A con man is one who fabricates rumors of wrongdoings against others in the same vein as he is used to doing and speaks out against them as morally wrong when he has not got not even as much as a moral fiber in his system. That is a con man. I recall when I composed a hypothetical, unauthorized biography of a thief. You notice I said not thief, thief. Back in the 90s. It hit the streets like wildfire. I shudder to think what will happen when I add the deserving steroidal effect to it and represent it. The new model one is going to be the unauthorized biography of the old thief. And it's coming, you know, folks. It's loaded. You heard what I said. The steroidal effect. It is for sure that people who have started to pay attention to things around them will finally understand the need to stay the hell away from con men and con women. What makes a good con man? Folks, you ever heard that's oxymoron, a good con man? One who perfects the art of being a con man, in other words. Folks, a good con man will put his victim at ease by telling stories that reveal his own anxieties, faults, and desires, thereby fabricating, making up what feels like common ground. Be careful, as we know the biggest con that has ever lived here in Grenada, and too many of you dropped the ball and are today paying for your transgressions as a result of being too trusting of this old nastiness for far too long. As research shows, we're quick to trust people we see as imperfect, like ourselves. Stop it. Cut it out. Never trust an old thief. What do all con men have in common? Well, first of all, they're common alike. But the psychology of a con. Many of us have experienced cons in our lives all too often. Each of these con artists have one thing in common: the power of persuasion to swindle their victims and appear to be concerned about them by referring to them as poor and vulnerable. Isn't that interesting? The successful cons exhibit three similar characteristics: psychopathy, narcissism, and Machiavellianism, which have been referred to by psychologists as dark personality traits, character flaws, in other words. A confidence trick is also known as a con game, a finesse, a con, a scam, a grift, a hustle, a bunco, a swindle, a flim-flam, a gaffle, or a bamboozle. You know, the intended victims are known as marks, suckers, stooges, mugs, rubes, or gulls, from the word gullible. But here in Grenada, we suffer no shortage of suckers, stooges, and gullible people who are not capable of seeing beyond their noses. How do you catch a con man? Folks, easy. Wake up, remain awake, and grow your consciousness. Some con men are subtle, and some are easier to spot, like the old tricks that many of you have grown accustomed to right here in Grenada. But I'll give you some areas for you to look out for a con. 1. Con artists do not like to be found. And they don't like their real name either. So they dress to blend in. Some of them dress much younger than they really are, to fool young people into thinking they are one of them. That in itself is a con. Rule number 2, con artists dress as if to appear successful. But they are successful thieves. They make special effort to come across as smooth, professional, and successful. Con artists may dress like they are wealthy and may even work out of impressive-looking offices. But if your only contact that you have for them is by mail, the office may bear a prestigious-sounding address. Often, this is nothing more than a mail drop. Your best bet is to look behind the surface and do some serious investigating before you part with your money or your support or your vote. Rule number 3, con artists often push poorly understood rhetoric and or products. Never give someone control over your national purse strings just because you think you are too old, you are too young, or you are not experienced as they are. The only thing a con artist is experienced in is thieving. Seek professional advice and trusted assistance to understand a con before you trust them, if at all. Rule number 4, con artists bring out the worst in you. Trust me. Skilled con artists, like the one we have had here for all these years, can bring out the worst traits in you and appeal to your baser instincts that you probably never knew you had, particularly greed, fear, and insecurity. Con artists know that promises for oil and gas and jobs will get your attention and cause you to support them and their lies for as long as they can con you. While they do well, the masses catch real hell. Rule number 5, con artists are fair weather friends. Isn't that interesting? So before you support them, con artists are very friendly and will visit you all too often. In fact, they are perceived to take a personal interest in you out of the blue. They call back when they promised that they would. Each time they tell you even more good things in the form of lies about what they are doing, when in truth and in fact they ain't doing nothing. You may feel you're being pressured, and by God you are. Despite his or her kind words, the con artist will do anything in his or her power to secure your support. Too often, however, once you are all in and considered captured, contact with the con artist dwindles and then stops altogether. If you cannot get answers to your questions after committing yourself, there is a good chance that the con man is doing well and being able to declare assets in the millions while you remain poor and vulnerable. Rule number 6, for every silver lining, there is a cloud. Folks, every investment, whether of support and or vote, time or money, involves risk. But to hear the con artist explain it, the investment may be too good to be true. Trust your inner voice when it tells you this is too good to be true, because it probably is. Hasn't it proved to be too good to be true over the years, 1995 to 2022, and nothing? Approaching 50 years of national independence. And where is the real progress, especially from an administration that was around the precincts of power for the longest during that period? That was con. Rule number 7, watch out for the man from Ponzi, Ponzi. But you know that's an acronym. You know what it stands for? Pay out now, zero imminent. So if you are promised high guaranteed benefits and give no written explanation concerning the practical vehicle to deliver those benefits, the conman's background, or the risks involved, walk away, please. Never invest in anything based on the enthusiasm or charisma and charm of the conman or crook. They may have more to gain by taking you for a ride than you will ever know. Rule number 8, steer clear, folks, of pyramid schemes. They promise too much returns on too small investments. Your investment over the years has been your gullibility to believe all the old talk and downright lies that the greatest of cons told to you. And you have absolutely nothing to show for it today except abject poverty and a mostly dunce population. And hence the topic for today is, if you don't know what a con man is by now, after all these years, you will always be conned. I told you it was going to be riveting, and I told you it's going to be...
EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited and Tillian Group's Country Cold Store.
The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and or affiliates of this program.
Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure, you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training, and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
We're excited to introduce our new program, Conversations with Co-op Bank, hosted by Eddie Frederick. This program is part of our educational campaign aimed at sensitizing you, our customers, about various topic areas. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Look out for notifications and tune in to Conversations with Co-op Bank.
Welcome home.
Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, wonderful, folks. Welcome back. And for those of you just joining, please welcome, and hit that share button. And let's get as many more people in the room as possible because we have a lot more to come. Usually, I want you all to understand fully what a con is. When we finish with this program, I'm sure you could put names to what you understand here tonight, because you have to look for a con artist in just about any form. So welcome back. As we proceed to give life to our topic today, if you don't know what a con is by now, you will always be conned. I offer you the following tips on not falling prey to a con artist. Folks, avoiding being hurt by a con artist is really easy as doing your own homework. But to do your homework, you have to pay attention. And a lot of you are just ambling through life. That is why you are living a life that is relegated at the back. When you don't pay attention, you stay at the back. Hello? It's natural. So I want you all to come up to the front so that you can pay attention and you cannot be conned. You see, if you do your homework before you invest, whether time, support, vote, or other resources, you will want to contact the authorities or regulators in areas of business to look into the legitimacy of the person pushing that con. Contact more experienced people than your good self if it is a person your gut feeling has issues with. Folks, most times when you have gut feelings about people, you are correct. All you do not ignore your gut feelings when it comes to a con. The research ought to be able to tell you if the person has a disciplinary history, that is, whether any civil, criminal, or administrative proceedings have been brought or ought to have been brought against him or her, or whether he has been pardoned from an issue that could have earned for him jail time, and having been forgiven, never changed his ways. We know people like that. Folks, contact your local police or even financial intelligence unit, Chamber of Commerce, etc., to see if any complaints have been filed against the subject. Folks, you could speak to people like me who know a lot and only use what I know when it's necessary to use the power of recall to clear up certain things. There are other people in the society with a bank of knowledge, just like me. Do your research, folks, to see if any complaints have been filed against anybody that's trying to con you. Speak with people old enough to know the transgressions of such cons. Deal only with individuals with a proven track record of success based on integrity. And you know what they say integrity is? Doing the right thing, whether people are watching you or not. Leave those who are steeped in tomfoolery behind. Could you imagine you not paying attention, allowed a con to run roughshod over decent citizens in this country for so goddamn long? You didn't see something was wrong with all you in truth? Ask for written information on the issue or person pushing the deal or presenting themselves for your support or vote. Read carefully, pay attention to what was probably not said, and ask questions. That's how you pay attention, folks. Don't take everything you hear or read at face value. Ask questions if you don't understand, and do some sleuthing for yourself. Snoop around, do some background checks, all on your own. Pay attention to everything. Why do you think I know so much? Because I pay attention. If you need help in evaluating the person or an issue relating to any con, go to someone independent whom you can trust, such as one of the few good and respected attorneys. You heard what I said? One of the few good and respected attorneys, accountants, or even financial advisors. In the case of people who you believe grew up with that con, ask them some questions about the individual. Most times, such cons are consistent in their dishonesty from school days. Steer clear of issues and elements touted with no downside or risks. Like we have oil and natural gas. And up to now, watch me like them old people, up to now, especially when such are steeped in lies, total dishonesty to the point where our experience is that the perpetrators of such falsehoods would not even make a mistake to do anything honest and decent in their own lives. Folks, how does a con artist think? Let's see if we could get inside their head now. They have an inflated view of themselves to begin with, and they're really shameless in their self-promotion. They hang out with other people who can give you a false impression of them, and in many cases, they use such people to help launder their own image. They can also be impulsive. They engage in dangerous behavior and obviously commit crimes without any regard for the impact it can have on others. Con artists also tend to be very confident and cocky, just like the little old nastiness we have around our joint. What motivates a con artist, folks? What is it that drives people to become master manipulators of the people around them? According to psychologist Maria Konnikova, author of The Confidence Game, Why We Fall for It Every Time, it's about power or the thrill of it all. But who is the biggest international con of all times? We must have heard of Ponzi schemes. Well, Charles Ponzi is the man that scheme got its name from. Charles Ponzi was an Italian businessman and swindler who was responsible for duping thousands of investors in the early 20th century. Ponzi cheated investors out of an estimated $32 million back then, which would be valued at nearly $500 million today. Today, his name is an acronym for Pay Out Now, Zero Imminent. Ponzi. But who is the biggest local con of all time? Of course, we know the old nastiness takes that prize, in that his only strategy was to duncerize and pauperize a majority of the population, turning them into poor and vulnerable, while smashing the broad middle class base and bringing true and genuine progress of our nation to its knees because of the widespread poverty he presided over for all of his tenure. Interestingly, many of these pauperized people are today imbued with an undying love for him, and to hell with the country, as long as they could worship their savior who makes them beholden to him for their daily bread. If that is not a con, you tell me what is. That old nastiness takes the cake for being the biggest local con. Do con men ever change? Many will go even further, however. Con artists will actually change and adapt their personality to mirror your personality by the way you speak, the way you think, the way you act, and the way you view things, like politics, for instance. This is how they suck you in, by telling you what you want to hear. And so lies are spewed incessantly, with absolutely no intention of backing them up with any desirable action. Do you think con artists might be afflicted with some mental disorder? I kind of believe so. In some cases, they may have a psychiatric condition like antisocial personality disorder, which is characterized by qualities like impulsivity, aggression, and a lack of empathy. Dr. Plante, medical director of Wisconsin Institute for Sleep and Consciousness, said, such cons, because of their fixation on power and control, would terrorize their subjects by unsettling them with early morning telephone calls, laced with obscenities and abusive language and threats, reminding them of who have them in their various positions. And if they do not follow through on their dictates, they can easily see their positions taken away from them. If that is not a person with a serious mental disorder, you tell me who is. So folks, if you don't know what a con is by now, after all these years, you will always be conned. Bear with me, folks. We have more to come.
EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited and Tillian Group Country Cold Store.
The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and or affiliates of this program.
Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
We're excited to introduce our new program, Conversations with Co-op Bank, hosted by Eddie Frederick. This program is part of our educational campaign aimed at sensitizing you, our customers, about various topic areas. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Look out for notifications and tune in to Conversations with Co-op Bank.
Welcome home.
Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful. Welcome back, folks. And for those of you just joining, welcome. Folks, when one's character is smashed, nothing that person does could be classified as good, even when they do good. Isn't that sad? That person's motive will always be questioned. What a pity the real truth is never cared about, when that person may be genuine in their attempt to actually change and register some form of change. Such a person receives no props, as their consistency at being unreasonable and wicked supersedes everything. I'm advising you not to find yourself in this situation where your character is no good. Remember what I have told you all too often. Character is who you are, while of course reputation is what others think of you. And to hell with what others think of you. That's not your business. Just keep your character intact. Because when you keep your character intact, your reputation usually takes care of itself. We have some people who have fallen terribly in life and are today looking for a job. You see, when they were up, they treated others so poorly that now they are down. The natural law of justice has taken a hold of them completely. Additionally, because their names have been called in all sorts of hanky-panky, their looking for a job today is to be interpreted as cover up for their nasty ways, so they would not be thought of as having amassed any form of wealth while they were up and enjoying a good life. You see? Con people, that's how they operate. Trying to even con your thoughts. I always tell people that I will repeat it till the cows come home. My one daughter will never have to ask me, what did I do to try to prevent Grenada from getting to where we are today? She was born seeing me fighting against the nastiness. Never stopped, and up to this day, don't intend to stop. We have some people who are so bent on gaining power that even if they are totally emasculated, they still insist on pursuing their lifelong dream to become prime minister or to regain the position of prime minister. One way or other, this is sad. They don't even know if they are really after ash, trash, or mess, but they insist on being after something. I recall several people over the years telling of those eerie feelings they got from shaking the hand of and even greeting that old nastiness. One in particular was told at an event after shaking that hand, "I catch you, I catch you." A few days later, that person ended up with a stroke. Why the "I catch you" comment? Why? The situation with several people who seem suckers for punishment is really concerning. Let me give you a little analysis that I have conducted because of paying attention over the years. There are at least 6 lawyers whose political ambition has been destroyed by the old nastiness, aided and abetted by many of you, the unthinking and uncaring members of the population. It started with the esteemed Dr. Francis Alexis KC, a constitutional legal expert par excellence. Then Mr. Reynold Benjamin, another lawyer, Mr. Tillman Thomas, Mr. Nazim Burke, and most recently, Mrs. Kindra Mathurin Stewart. In true conman style, the charming Peter David has been used craftily to do the job on Tillman Thomas and Nazim Burke, in return for what was generally believed to be an alleged promise of succession to the throne of leadership when the old nastiness steps down. Everybody else knew that was a con, except the not the wiser Peter David himself. Interestingly, none of the other lawyers got it as bad as Peter David has been getting it thus far. And knowing the old nastiness, Peter David ain't get anything much yet. No sooner than us hearing and witnessing all of this, we hear of another lawyer's name being called as a prospect for leadership to succeed the old nastiness. Well, folks, if you thought Peter David's treatment is bad, the only thing this new lawyer can get is worse, as the consistency of the old nastiness has been known and is very lethal. Whereas he got Peter to do the job on Tillman Thomas and Nazim Burke, he is doing the job on Peter for himself. This 7th lawyer lining up to share in the con's need to take warning, as it cannot end well for him. Folks, we must learn to not fight the things that God has brought to an end. After all, that is only the way many of us thought your dream would work out. Many of us thought our dreams would work out a particular way, and it just did not. The old nastiness thought he'd always be in the place enjoying life as he got accustomed to it. He thought he'd always have his friends of convenience around him. But in his own life, he's seeing differently. That now he's down, they are gone. Folks, when what we were accustomed to ends, it is the master closing that door, so we step into the new thing that he has in store. That new thing, most times, is in direct proportion to what we deserve. For you have been wronged too often, folks. You know, what we sow, we must reap. On a positive note, when you are positive and you have been taken and played the fool with. My advice to you is to stay open. For God's way is not our way. Sometimes the brook would dry up. Sometimes the manna would cease. Similar to what is happening to all the treasury feeders, crooks, and con men and con women of our time. It is the hand of God closing one door to open another door for all his deserving children. In such a short space of time since June 23rd, 2022, election promises are being fulfilled like we have never seen them ever in our almost 50-year history as an independent nation. Some people remain at the wrong side of the door because what they were doing before that served their purpose felt so good and brought so much largesse to them that they remain in stupor, that the end of that feast has come upon them. Yes, you can hold on to your dreams and your promises, but we have to all remain open to how God is going to do it for us. And that is why the change is so bruising to so many. Many of us look for vengeance, to get even and settle scores with people who may have wronged us. Folks, let us not lose sight of the fact that it is natural and it takes quite a lot for someone to allow karma to do its work all on its own. Many of us need to realize that vengeance is not always about seeing to it that our enemies are punished. No. The greater vengeance is about God preserving our enemies and putting them in close proximity where they have no choice but to watch you win in spite of what they did to you. That has to be hard. The severest of punishment is just watching you win. Trust me. If you would pay attention, the universe is about to punish some people in your life. Folks, many of them are watching you on social media. They are not liking, they are not commenting, they are not sharing. But trust me, they are watching. Some of them assume fake names just to suffer and watch you win. Trust me, they are watching and mad as hell that you are winning. Win anyway. If you don't know what a con is by now, after all these years, you will always be conned. Let's take our final break and then we'll come back for our conclusion. Okay?
EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited and Tillian Group Country Cold Store.
The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and or affiliates of this program.
Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure, you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
We're excited to introduce our new program, Conversations with Co-op Bank, hosted by Eddie Frederick. This program is part of our educational campaign aimed at sensitizing you, our customers, about various topic areas. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Look out for notifications and tune in to Conversations with Co-op Bank.
Welcome home.
Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Wonderful, folks. And of course, we're into our final segment here. So just bear with me. As I close today's Edification 162, I remind you that if you don't have many friends, that means you have a lot of life experiences. Of course, growth comes with experience. Many of the people you started off with are not the same people in your life currently. I am sure about that. That's when you know you are making progress. Because if you have the same people around you as when you were a kid, it signals a bit of stagnation and lack of growth. As you grow, many of the people you grew up with fall off the wagon because of their lack of growth in the same direction with you. C'est la vie, that's life. If older people do not listen to younger people, they become slower around older people. Isn't that interesting? But listen to this. When younger people don't listen to older people, they become slower among younger people. If young people would listen to old people, they would move faster among younger people because you would have acquired advanced knowledge. And when older people listen to younger people, they would move faster in the older world because they got new knowledge. So what should we really do? Coexist. We should listen to each other so that we can all grow. When I hear people who were born 60, 70, and 80 years ago wanting to put today's generation in a box of their time, 60 and 70 and 80 years ago, you know, it riles me up. Young people dress to suit what's trending today. And as these same expired old people used to set trends back in their day. That's life. Older women used to wear bingo bag, full gallon drawers. Now today, people wearing halter bag drawers. So what? Just mind your business. We have some people who cannot dress, do not dress, don't look good generally, and even when they try, they still don't look good, who want to set standards for young people in terms of how they should dress. They will be better advised to leave well alone. But you know what I find interesting? Young people ain't taking them on one bit, and rightly so. Folks, just keep scrolling now. Keep moving right along now. Our current Prime Minister is a 45-year-old man. He's not 75 years. He does not find it necessary to put shoe polish in his hair, wear tight clothes to mask his old and frowsiness. I recently saw a forwarded WhatsApp message, don't know the source, making the round about not liking how our spanking young and erudite Prime Minister dresses amongst his colleagues. First of all, he is not an old frowsy man. He's younger than all of them except, of course, his Kititian counterpart, Drew. And they both dress as trendy, younger men. So what? Some of us major in too much goddamn minor. I want to advise him to proceed as he's going and dress more often like that, so they will finally get accustomed to the way younger people dress before they're dead. Because it looks like they want the young Prime Minister to look frowsy, like most of them. I have told you this all too often. You need to surround yourself with people who are going to stimulate, inspire, and lift you up. People who are going to give you energy and not take it away from you. If you insist on being around people who take energy away from you, that's an energy drain, and that's a sign from your instinct, your inner voice, and your intuition saying to you, release them, let them go, say goodbye, go, move from here. We live among many people who are exactly where they deserve to be in life. I know that the universe and God are extremely giving. And if you truly dedicate yourself and truly try your best, there is no way you will be left at the bottom. When I see people who are truly at the bottom, I know they could not have given it everything. I know some of them, many of them have surrendered to that old nastiness who has them at the bottom. In fact, we all live among many of them who are predestined to be at the bottom because of the brainwashing they received from 1995 to 2022, for the most part, from that old con, yes, that old nastiness, who wired them to not give their own life everything they got. They are today left as slaves to the feeling of entitlement. It's sad. Their refusal to become active participants in their own lives have left them at the back, while the con man who yoked and cocooned them into an abject backwardness has the means to live well. Of course, that same con man gives life to Bob Marley's philosophy. Some people are so poor, the only thing they have is money. Of course, that old nastiness today is status-starved, wished he was chauffeur-driven, waited upon hand and feet in order to feel like he's somebody. Folks, the table has turned, hasn't it? The truth is, if you give this only life that you are given your very best, the universe will refuse to leave you down and out. Trust me. We all have to remember that if an eagle sees another bird flying at the same altitude as he is flying at, it must be another eagle. It cannot be a pigeon, because they're not known to fly that high. If you find yourselves flying with pigeons, you must be flying too goddamn low. It is said, show me your crowd, and I will show you your future. Wouldn't you like to become conscious enough to change the direction of your life? What should you do to change your life? You must realize that you cannot grow when you are surrounded by people who are struggling just like you. Change your environment. That statement about not wanting to leave anybody behind, you need to change that too. Hell no. I don't want to stay with you all. You are happy to be where you are? Great. Then bye-bye. Become okay with the fact that you will not be less committed to your community, culture, and even family. But the best thing you can do for you is not stay with the rest where they are, especially if they are moored to the bottom. Who vex can read the text. After all, life is about choices, and we all must make a choice to take a chance for fear that our lives will never change. So when you level up spiritually, you might lose friends. Leveling up is primarily why they don't like you in the first place. You may start feeling negativity from family members even, friends and other people that used to know you. That is because when you put in the work to heal yourself and become whole and at one with your inner higher consciousness, you will trigger the unhealed parts of other people. We all have to understand the true nature of people. A lot of people don't like to see other people doing better than them. It makes them feel insecure and inferior. To them, your success magnifies their failures. Folks, your wealth or progress towards life magnifies their lack. Your personal and spiritual growth magnifies their spiritual stagnation and lack of ambition. Somehow, when you start believing in yourself and having confidence, people will say that you are arrogant because deep down they wished they had more self-esteem themselves. So don't take them personally. When people are in pain, they can't speak logically and they perceive the world through their pain. Healing yourself and self-improvement take courage, discipline, and sacrifice. And a lot of people aren't willing to do what it takes. They want the results, but they don't want to do what it takes to get the results. So they're really not mad at you. They are mad at themselves. This is why they don't like you. You hang out with losers, you will end up a loser, just like them. Remember what Brian Tracy said, 80% of people are lazy and unstructured, and they hang out with one another. They continually infect and reinfect one another and perfect the art of remaining lazy and unstructured. If you want to be in the remaining 20% that attract success, you have the right idea. Leave the 80% alone. Go in the 20% and you will be infected with their positive results too. Isn't it amazing that negative people always find each other? Complainers find each other. The people that work out in gyms also find each other. The people that want to change their lives find each other. The people that want to have an easy life always find a con man that is prepared to make them feel they are having an easy life, when in truth and in fact, they are not. What does this mean? If you were to take an inventory of the 5 people you spend most of your time with, if you complain all the time, it's because you are a complainer. If they steal to get ahead, it is because you are also a thief, also to get ahead. You are choosing that environment because you are comfortable with your peers. After sharing all of this, folks, if you don't know what a con is by now, you will always be conned. Remember, as a people who love to call themselves Christians, who love to tote and quote the Bible, you must remember that evil does not stop itself. Evil must be stopped. You have to rebuke evil. You have to stop that local devil in the form of that old nastiness from messing with you. That old nastiness does not intend to take a break. And that is why good people who are paying attention need not take a break also. That old nastiness needs to be rebuked. Because if that old nastiness isn't, that old nastiness will become and continue rather to insult you today and insult you worse tomorrow. We all have to rebuke evil like I do here constantly. There is no mistaking that I hate evil and will invest my life to rebuke it in all its forms. A lot of you who say you like to pray, you need to disconnect from the things of the earth and connect with the divine resources that are above. So believe in the power of God, as God can break demonic strongholds over our lives. We need to rebuke that old nastiness so he can be relegated to the dustbin of our history and to the back, and not as, we see him you're just in the middle of everything like Wednesday. Rebuke that old local devil. I'm in, I'm out, I'm gone. So see you next week, God willing, for regular programming. Until then, I beg of you to stay safe, stay well. Remain lifted, please. Remain lifted.
EDDIE-FICATION with consultant human resource development and training specialist Eddie Frederick is powered by Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited and Tillian Group Country Cold Store.
We're excited to introduce our new program, Conversations with Co-op Bank, hosted by Eddie Frederick. This program is part of our educational campaign aimed at sensitizing you, our customers, about various topic areas. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Look out for notifications and tune in to Conversations with Co-op Bank.
Welcome home.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Tillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com.
Co-op Bank introduces e-payments, our new e-banking feature that allows you to make payments online hassle-free. Log in securely with biometric technology. Make recurring payments easier with automated scheduling. Save time by paying your bills online. Transfer money to accounts at other local and regional banks. Send wire transfers on the go to anywhere in the world. Or send money to friends or family using Buddy Payment. E-payments, the swift, simple, and secure way of transferring money.
Welcome home.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
EDDIE-FICATION with consultant